5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And booyah. Hey folks, welcome to the Edutainment Corner. This is a podcast about all the things that are going on around the world from your average teenager's point of view. Here with me today, and hopefully every single time we record for the future, is Wayne and Nicolas. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing epic, man. I'm super excited to actually record the podcast. This is exciting.
Me too.
All right, so for those who don't know, the podcast is gonna be all about all sorts of science and interesting things that are happening in the world. So we'll go over news, we'll go over the newest science and biology and space pub articles that have been published, and we're just gonna talk about them and give our perspective and all sorts of things. So for this episode, guys, we have a bit planned. We're gonna talk about GameStop, obviously, because GameStop is just taking over the news, and it's just crazy. I mean, the Wall Street bets and everything about this is just insane. Before we go into that and some questions about us, just to get to know us a little better, is let's talk about the backstory, how we got here. So who are you, Wayne?
Well, obviously my name's Wayne. Me and Nick here met freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been friends ever since. And we both came up with an idea of starting a podcast because we wanted. I mean, I felt I wanted to do something to spend time on because recently I just haven't had motivation to do a lot of things, and this coming up made me want to be more active, and I thought the podcast was a great idea.
Oh, definitely, dude. I'm super excited to be doing this with you too.
Me
This has
too.
been something that I've been looking forward to every day since we started talking about it.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm
So,
Nicola. I met when freshman year, just as we said. I like to do I like to play music. That's just something that I've always been good at, something I like. So I play guitar and cello. I really like math and science, and I play soccer. I won't say I'm good at it, but I definitely like to play. Um, I recently moved to Tennessee, actually. So freshman year was my first time in a class, and Wayne was one of the first people that I was like, this guy's cool. So we've been friends definitely since that. And I
yeah.
and in the future, I'd love to someday become an aerospace engineer or work in space somehow. So
Yeah.
so now that you know a little bit about us, we're gonna go ahead and get into some of the news stories. So how the news stories are gonna work? I'm gonna read generally or talk about the biggest news story, and then we're gonna both kind of give our 2 cents, or maybe Wayne could read them. Today I'm gonna be reading the GameStop Wall Street bets because that's just the most interesting, or I'll be talking about it,
Absolutely.
and that's just it's crazy what's been happening right in the stock market recently. So I guess the first thing everybody here should know about is how shorting works. So in the stock market, you can uh, buy shares or you could sell shares, and this is just um, how it works. Generally, what people do and what most people know is you can buy a share at a certain price. Let's say it's at $3, and then you can wait a little bit, and as more people buy, the share might go up to $10. And if you sell it at $10, you've made like triple your investment, which is super good. That's like 300%. So
Lots of money.
that's a ton of money, especially if you're doing, hundreds of shares. Um, so generally you'll see, a 6%, 7%, like increase in a year is a good year. And there's some people now that that are that really watch these markets, and these are hedge funds, and they've been sort of profiting off these smaller companies stocks for quite a while. And
Big Wall Street peoples.
well, yeah. So how have they been, like hurting these small companies? Well, see, there's you can buy stocks like we talked about, or you can also sell stocks where instead of buying now and selling later, you actually have the option then to sell now. So let's say the price is at $10, you'll sell $10. Let's say you sell, 100 $10 share stocks, right? Um, and then you wait in the future, you'll sell them. So you do this when you think the stock is going to go down. So if it's at $10 now and you think it's going to go down to 3, You're selling them at 10 and you're going to buy them back at 3. This is kind of risky because it could go up to 20 and now you have to pay twice as much, and this isn't something that you already have. Like if you don't if you buy stocks, for an example, you own the stock no matter what it goes to. You're not in debt at all. But if you short the stock and it goes up, you're in debt. So a lot of people don't like these big companies because what happens is all these big companies and these big corporations and on Wall Street are gonna short stocks, and that's gonna make the company value go down. And that's not good for people looking to invest in that company because they're gonna be like, hey, their stock's going down. So they're not gonna want to invest. So then therefore that's bad for the company. That happened a lot with Tesla, and I think it was Melvin or Citron. I think it was Citron,
Yeah.
one of these hedge funds, and they kept shorting Tesla, and they were very vocal about it. So no one would buy into Tesla, and Elon Musk was not.
Too happy about it.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get any investors in Tesla, so it was really bad for his company. So yeah, so a lot of these big companies have been shorting little companies like this for a long time, and they've just been making tons and tons of money off of it, and it's not really fair because they were the ones that made the rules, and now they're profiting off the rules. So nobody really likes these big corporations, and there's this site called Reddit, and I'm sure you've all heard of it. And there's a person on this website called u/deep fucking value, and he actually was someone who figured out, that a lot of these big hedge funds have shorted a specific stock, GameStop, GME. A lot of these hedge funds shorted GameStop. So he decided to buy in because at some point he knows that these companies are going to buy it back, and they're going to when they buy back, it's going to make the price go up. So he bought it, and he's just waiting for them to buy it back, and then he's going to sell as soon as it's up and just make a little bit. He started posting his gains every day to Reddit, to the specific sub on that Reddit.
Wall Street Bets.
Yep, Wall Street Bets, exactly.
The infamous subreddit.
Nobody likes it, but everyone who is in there loves it.
Yep.
The Wall Street Bets is just it's crazy. If you go there,
Monstrosity.
yeah.
Crazy what they're doing.
It's so funny. So this user, this guy, u/deep fucking value, he ended up posting every single day to Wall Street Bets his gains on just GameStop, and every single day he would just post it. At first, people thought he was crazy. It's like, dude, you're losing money. This isn't good, And then all of a sudden, people realize that these hedge funds have shorted it, or something happens, and the GameStop people just start buying in. And then as people start buying into GameStop, everybody's who's already bought into GameStop now, their prices, their stocks, their shares are going up. Deep Value had put tons of money into GameStop originally. He put, I think, like $50,000 worth of shares, or he recently just put 50,000. Yeah, and these are shares of GameStop. So
yeah, for a company that's almost out of business.
Yeah. Also, by the way, at some point we're going to start talking about how this has become a war, and that's where it's going to be an open discussion.
War against the
hedge funds,
author right and the lib right, and literally, basically, every scale of the political compass, except for the lib right, because the lib right are the big Wall Street people, and they're like, oh, the hedge fund, basically the hedge funds people, are lib right because free market, big money. Even though in reality, it's like almost like a dictatorship against these poor people.
Exactly, and that's how it's been for so long.
Yeah.
We did a little cut, but we'll probably actually tie this into the podcast because this is totally interesting stuff. And so
I don't want to go full political.
Yeah, and what I like about this is that it's almost not fully political. You see,
yeah, it's
like Ocasio-Cortez is far left, and her
Ted
and
Cruz.
Trump Jr. are agreeing on the same thing, which is just incredible.
It's
so
more like a like a class war instead of a political. It's more like rich versus poor.
Poor, exactly. And the poor people have the power right now, and the rich people hate
Yep.
this.
Yep.
So in order to fully understand this, let's finish the story. So
Okay.
yeah. So GameStop, I keep saying GameStop.
GameStop.
You know what I mean. But yeah, so GameStop was being shorted by these hedge funds, and a bunch of people on Reddit started finding out. And since we all hate these big guys, a bunch of average people on the Wall Street bet sub started buying into GameStop, and and they started driving up the price. Now the epic thing here is that these hedge funds were still they're still in. They still have to pay back the shorts they put in, and they still do even today. So as the price goes up, as the GameStop price goes up, they have to start worrying about paying huge amounts back instead of the smaller amount they originally had.
They're losing money.
Yeah, GME, that's GameStop sticker, was at $4 like not long ago, and it went to 80 and then $150 in like a day. These big guys they're out billions, and part of this is because also Elon Musk and Chamath, he's the head of Virgin Galactic, started tweeting about it, and more people started joining the Wall Street Bet subreddit, and more people just kept joining, and I think today, at least on the 29th, which is the day we're recording, it has like 6 million people. The subreddit tripled in size. It has 6 million people now.
Could actually
And
look it up.
yeah, or I think it was 6 million earlier today. It might be even more now. It might be closer to 7 million. I don't know. The subreddit is just insane, and since Elon Musk tweeted, it's just blown up, and you see, so the GameStop, I keep saying GameStop.
GameStop. Yeah.
The
By the way,
uh-huh.
it has 6.6 million.
6.6 million people. Holy cow. That's more than triple. I think
Oh
it was
my
at like
God.
1.97 when I joined. Which
I
means it
actually
was probably
haven't
lower.
joined it yet.
That
I'll
means it
join
was
it right
probably
now.
yeah. That means it was probably lower even before I joined, cuz I joined like a couple I joined around when GameStop was like at like $80, I think.
Yeah.
I remember I bought a share at 150 just to be part of history, because this was so cool. The poor people were actually rising up against the hedge funds.
Class war.
Yeah. So that night, the while the market was closed, because no one could trade from, I think, like 5 o'clock Eastern or something like that. No one can trade. I think 4 o'clock where we are in Tennessee. No one can trade from that time to like 9 o'clock in the morning. I think it's the market's open 9 to 5, and if no one can trade during that time, what are you gonna do in the meantime? You're gonna start looking for other stocks that these hedge funds have, put huge shorts on,
Those
and people found
things.
AMC,
AMC,
and
Nokia,
Nokia. Yep,
BlackBerry, Bed Bath
yep,
and Beyond, all
yep,
those.
exactly. So all these people start finding these new stocks, and they say, everybody, AMC, as soon as the market opens, just go. The next day, so I think this was 2 days ago, from recording, and everybody starts AMC in the morning. It just goes up. Like there's not a single down. It's just straight up, and like a straight line up too. Like it's not a curve or a diagonal line. It's a straight line up.
To the moon.
AMC, like 5 minutes after the market opens, gets halted, and when people
It's
halt the market, that means you can't buy or sell.
or trade. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's stupid. It's really stupid. These big market, they're bending rules.
absolutely.
It's literally it's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
They're letting, especially, oh my God, Robin Hood. Robin
Oh
Hood is
God.
oh my
Yep.
God. The name Robin Hood. They're literally doing the exact opposite of
They're
Robin
robbing.
Hood.
Yep.
They're
There's
taking
memes
money
that they're
from
robbing the hood instead of Robin Hood.
exactly. They're taking money from poor people and they're giving it to the rich. That's as simple as you can get it.
And then
And
they're
it's
protecting the
insane.
rich from losing their money.
Yep.
So
It's
yeah,
stupid.
that day, after everybody's trying to AMC keeps getting halted by the big It's probably actually computer algorithms that actually halt the
Yeah.
stocks, right? And that's they just wanna make sure that there's not market manipulation going on or anything like that. And, it's not market manipulation if people are just suggesting, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna buy an AMC, and I think it's a good idea. Maybe it'd be cool if you did too." It's not an organized event. It's not a bunch of organized Redditors coming together and, you know, really, it's not market manipulation. Now, it kind of is a bunch of organized Redditors coming together, but it's not market manipulation because it's not a single entity and each person has, like, free choice, and there's not market manipulation in this. So really, the stocks shouldn't be halted. But let's say they were, and that day, Robinhood. So one of the big E-Trade, um, I guess vendors. I'm not sure what the word for it, but you buy and sell through these people. Robinhood um stops it. Like nobody can trade on
Yep.
these specific stocks. So no one could trade on GameStop. No one could trade on
Okay.
AMC. No
AMC.
one could trade on Nokia and all the other ones.
Yeah.
BlackBerry. There was a
Bed
couple of
Bath and
other ones.
Beyond.
Yeah, that they definitely just you could not trade, and that is 100% illegal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then
It's
AOC
insane.
and AOC even tweeted about it. So they're saying like this is unacceptable.
Let the people trade.
Yeah. Oh yes, let the people trade. Absolutely. And then
Reading
it,
thing right now. It's insane.
yeah,
I'll explain it after, but
yeah. No, no. Go ahead. Actually, we're nearing the end of the story.
so I'm reading on. I was looking for it now that I just joined Wall Street Bits. I've been looking through some of these, and I went to the earnings thread, and there's this
Oh,
guy. What is we doing? He has made. He went from 6,000 to 192,000. He made 170K in a day,
holy
and
cow!
he stomached yesterday's dip. He's 19 and he's not selling it till he's at a few million. And he's
Good, good.
we decide GME's price holds strong. That's
Yes.
insane.
Oh my God. Yes.
192,000. My God, that
It,
is
it
just so much.
I love these people, and it's because there's so much blatant market manipulation going on by these people like Robinhood and all the big
Yep.
corporations. Um, nobody's selling GameStop.
Yep.
Nobody is selling it because these hedge funds haven't gotten out. They're still shorted on it. They're continuously trying to halt the market to scare everybody off and drive the price down so that they can short this so they can buy their shorts back at a lower price because GameStop is at like $500 right now. In fact, I'm not actually sure what it's at. I think it's a little lower. I think it was at like 200 earlier today. But it's at 325 right now. But there was a point in time when it was at $500. If you look at the 5-day chart, it was just insanely high, I think, or it was very close to 500. Yeah, it was at $469 not long ago. It's GameStop is just insane. So these corporations now are basically screwed. There's no way they can bounce back unless GameStop goes down, and they're continuously trying to drive GameStop down by by scaring people off or halting the market so nobody can trade or stopping people from buying shares. And I think today there was some people saying, look, Robinhood right now is not necessarily stopping us from trading, but they're only letting us buy one share at a time of GameStop. They're only
It's
letting us buy
it's
three
the
shares at a
same
time.
thing as halting it, and that's
Exactly.
completely illegal.
Yeah. And it's
It's
just
it's
so dumb.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to the company.
Oh,
And
the
there's a
Robinhood, it's suicidal. Like there's no way.
Robinhood's gonna go down after all
Oh
this
yeah.
blows up, and it's already blown up. But once we win,
We're
it's
gonna win.
we're winning. Yeah, we're obviously
Yeah.
winning right now. There was a tweet that was very ironic, and it was from 2016, and it was Robinhood, and they tweeted, "Let the people trade."
Oh my God, that did not
And
age well then.
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
insane what's going on.
When you tweet, let the people trade, and then years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, you say, "Oh, you can only sell. You cannot buy these stocks that we don't want you to buy." That's
Yep.
not exactly. letting the people trade.
Calling these people diamond hands. They're not giving it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So right now it's past the point where people are buying GameStop to um make money. That's not what it's about anymore. The average retail, your retail, is the average person in the market, not a hedge fund or anything like that. The retail is just your average people. They're just buying. We're just buying the stocks to stop the price from going down. We're just buying it and holding it because there's not enough liquidity. There's not enough stocks in the market right now. Um, for the hedge funds right now, it's not. It doesn't work. Um, yeah, they're scared. They're really scared, and if everybody holds like we're doing right now, they're not going to be. They're just going to stay in debt, billions of dollars. So by holding and diamond hands, we're going to just hold on to this stock. We're not going to sell no matter what happens. There's no telling when this could end. Hopefully, GameStop stays at 300 for ages, and then these big corporations, these hedge funds, start having to pay interest on the shorts that they made. That'd be amazing. Yeah, no worries.
It's just insane.
Yeah,
Going on.
and then you have these
Big.
YOLOs.
Oh man, yeah. Taking a second mortgage out of his parents' home to invest in this stuff.
It's incredible, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. At this point, it's just an all-out war.
Exactly.
The poor people
Rich
have the
versus
power.
poor.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's almost similar to the French Revolution when the rich people had all the bread and they were just stealing the bread or profiting off the serfs and
And
the
the poor
peasants.
is revolted.
Yeah, and there was a revolution, and guess who won? The
Same
poor
with
people.
same with Russia. But
Really?
Russia was kind of more, power. It wasn't money.
Yeah.
It was just that, they were spending their money on useless stuff. Same with the French Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big ups were just, wasting their money instead of giving it back, which God intended.
Yeah. Let me stir my chocolate milk real quick. And I'm gonna take a sip to fuel
Take
us
a
for the.
swig of my water.
I'm gonna take a nice big swig of my chocolate milk too.
All right. We'll get into the next topic.
For sure. So, for the rest of this episode, guys, because the Wall Street bets was quite a long story, we're gonna talk about just getting to know our opinions on some of the things we might talk about in future episodes. Keep in mind, this podcast is gonna be about science and aliens and space and history and just all sorts of really interesting things and biology and it's gonna be exciting. So I figured in this first episode we should take a little bit of time to just get to know both of our views on certain things. So we have 4 questions prepared, and we're gonna talk about our opinions on these. So the first question that we're gonna ask is, what do we think? Each of us, what do we think the meaning of life is? Is there a meaning to it at all? What do you think, man?
I think the meaning of life is whatever you want it to be. I
That
think the meaning of life to one person could mean to make as much money as possible, and another person could be how happy you can be.
that
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's kind of
just,
actually similar to what I think. Yeah,
I think that it's whatever you want life to be, you can make it. But
I
you can't make excuses to what you want because, to get to your meaning of life and your
yeah,
maximum potential, you got to put in the work and you gotta do whatever is possible.
I definitely like that idea. Yeah, I've thought about this a lot. Um, I have to say,
What's your take?
I know this is kind of like a weird thing, but I kind of think we're living in a simulation, and we could definitely get into this in different podcast
Oh
episodes
yeah.
in the future. But I think I don't know why this simulation was created necessarily, or why we exist. But I think as an individual person, I think you have the choice, and you get to choose your own destiny. You get to choose what the point of your life is. And I like that idea because that gives you um it allows you to focus on what you want to focus in your life.
Gives you purpose.
Yeah, without having to have someone tell you what your purpose is.
Exactly.
That's
You define your destiny. You define, like I was saying, you define your own meaning of life.
yeah. And one thought I had is that the meaning of life would have to uphold for all life. Like humans, right? Has to uphold for all humans, no matter where you come from or what you look like. It has to uphold for all humans, and then it also needs to uphold for every facet of life that it can be. It has to uphold for humans. It has to uphold for animals. It has to uphold for plants, bacteria, like mushrooms. And if someone can come up with like a universal meaning like this, then that who says it's not the meaning of life?
True.
You know,
Oh.
if go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely like to talk about the simulation
Oh yeah, me too. Definitely.
in future episodes. We're probably not gonna have time to do that today, but if we get to the end, we could definitely talk about that. All right. So moving on, the next question we have, for us to talk about is
Ready for
aliens.
this one.
Yeah, aliens. Do you think they're out there, man?
Yes, I 120% believe that aliens. I mean, it's literally the government. Governments have confirmed that there's
So do you believe in the
extraterrestrial.
UFOs and stuff too?
Oh, I mean, okay. Some of it may be fabricated, but there is some truth to UFOs and stuff. I don't think, stereotypical, UFOs, flying saucers. I think it's a lot more advanced than that
Oh, I think.
because our Earth has been. I feel like our Earth is like a downgrade, or like we're holding each other or holding ourselves back. We could be like these aliens and be flying to different galaxies and different universes and alternate dimensions and crap, but we are holding ourselves back, and so we can't do it. And finally we've gotten to the point where we're learning about. I really hope we get to learn about this in the future, about aliens and stuff, and you know just stuff like that.
Dude, I am
But
100% with you.
yeah.
I have to say, so it's interesting. For me, listening to like people like Joe Rogan has completely
Yeah.
changed my mind. Like, I've always believed in aliens, and I've always thought that they were real. Like like not necessarily UFOs. Like I have to say, I think a
Yeah.
year ago, if you would ask me if I thought UFOs were real, I'd say no, not a chance.
Hmm.
Um, if you'd asked me if I thought aliens were real, though, I would have said absolutely. If you just look at the number of stars there are out there, and then the fact that the six
We're these
elements for life
tiny
are,
little ants.
yeah, and the fact that the six most common elements in the world are in the entire universe are the six most important elements to have life. Our universe is
There's
like designed for life, so w- it's probably a coincidence that, or it's probably we find ourselves in the universe that's best suited for handling life. But I
there's
think,
other yeah, there's other planets. There's other planets that
yeah,
are like Earth, but there's
that could
always
have
that one
happened.
thing.
Yeah.
There's always that one thing. Oh nope, life can't be inhabited here because of this. But other than that, it's literally Earth.
Mm-hmm. So I've always believed in aliens, and then recently I've started to listen to like a lot of the people that Joe Rogan has had on in the past.
Yeah.
Um, I love listening to people like Bob Lazar or I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's like Jacques Vallée or something like that. These people they go on the Joe Rogan Experience, and it's so fascinating to wonder from it, just if these aliens that they potentially talk about are real. And I've almost gotten to a point where I think I believe Bob Lazar's story, and we'll definitely talk that about in future episodes because it's so interesting. But
Yeah.
I think it's I think I mean, I won't discount the fact that it's all made up, or that there's some other explanation, but I think that's the laziest way to try to explain something. Like, it's like, see, like it's almost the easiest. Someone who cares is gonna take the time to figure out what they mean, and I don't know, and what it could, like, if it could
What it
fit
could
into
be.
our potential scientific theories at all. So I was listening to Bob Lazar, talk about his experience at Area 51. No, it wasn't exactly Area 51, but it was, what we call Area 51, and I think it was S4. And the fact that, UFOs are real, and that blew my mind. Like, if that is real, holy cow.
Yeah, like Israel, I think it was Israel that was the first like government to confirm that
Oh, the
aliens were
prime
real.
minister, the prime minister, the space prime
Yeah,
minister there.
the
Oh
fact
yeah.
that oh my bad.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just the fact that we have a new branch of military, the Space Force.
Oh yeah.
I bet you somebody, if you would have told that to somebody 50 years ago, they would have thought you were crazy. One of those people that's like the moon landing's fake. Oh,
Oh,
that's a good. We could talk about that in a future
the
episode.
moon landing being fake. Do you think it's fake?
No, I think that it was real. People say, "How do you get a camera up there?"
Yeah,
And realize a camera doesn't need much. You know, you don't
exactly.
need Wi-Fi for a camera. I don't think Wi-Fi was a thing back in the '60s.
Yeah,
So
you could literally bring a film
yeah,
recorder and it'd work. You just need to
yep,
develop the film when you get back to Earth.
yep,
Um, I have to say though, I did listen to some of the evidence on the contrary, just because I was interested in it. Like, what makes these people think that? And when you look at it, it's really interesting. So some of the pictures of some of the videos of the moon landing don't
look,
match up. There's in
looks
one of
like it
the
was
videos, the
recorded in a
physics.
studio.
So it's like there's like three different types of physics in the excuse me, in the videos. So it's like one of them is where the ground is bouncy, and another one's like where the ground is like absorbent. Now that could, excuse me again, be different surfaces on the moon, or it could be somehow, that, and this is what I'm willing to believe. They went to the moon, because the physics in some of their videos
Yeah,
don't match up, and there's definitely faked photos. People, like, it's been proven that, some of the photos from the moon were not actually from the moon. Like, that is confirmed. Like, I think there's a
yeah.
picture of, like, Michael Collins, um, and doing a spacewalk, and that's just a picture on the space training, that they've, edited, and they've put a black background with stars instead. So there's definitely fake photos. So what it makes me think is that we did go to the moon, but we
Yes.
didn't have enough footage. We didn't, like, we took some footage, but we didn't take good and, like, full footage that makes
That
a
makes it
really,
look like real. People
yeah,
believe
or
that it's fake because it just looks really bad. Like, like there's the whole how can you have, like 4K cameras and then, when it comes to bank robberies, the bank cameras look like they were recorded on
yeah,
something you'd use back in the 60s. And it's like
yeah,
you can shoot a lot of fake things with bad cameras.
yeah. And so what I'm willing to bet is that they didn't, yeah, either, it's like that, or it's possible that they went to the moon, they didn't have enough footage.
Yeah.
So they just decided to make more when they got back to Earth. So some
Mhm.
of them are real, some of them are faked. But I think we went to the moon, no question about it.
Absolutely.
Um,
I think those TikToks. I've seen so many TikToks of people in space.
mm,
I'm like, so weird seeing that these people like comment like, "Oh, I can see my house from here" and stuff. It's like it's so weird that people are in space right now.
yeah. Oh, and the space station too. Dude, I'd
Yeah,
love to
man.
go to Mars someday. That's something I'd love to do, is die on Mars. That's a goal I've had for a while, and it's
To die, that's kind of morbid.
no, 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 no. I
You'd
mean,
think
like,
living on Mars, just
you know what I mean? Like,
die.
after living on Mars for a while, I want to die
Yeah,
there.
I think that when it becomes available, I think it's gonna be very expensive.
Yeah. I
Like,
think Elon Musk has said that he's trying to get the price down to $500,000 so that someone
So
could
much money.
reasonably, yeah, and even possibly like $200 in the $200,000 in the future, right? So that
Yeah.
someone could reasonably sell their house on Earth and buy a ticket to Mars.
Would you think that they would provide housing to the first people on Mars?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely, definitely. It's a scientific mission. They have to.
say like you would think. I wonder if they would have like like they have a market here. I would wonder if they have a stock market on Mars. Different businesses and like
Dude,
jobs and stuff. Because the first jobs on Mars would probably be to build stuff on Mars.
yeah, to set up infrastructure for
Yep.
food and steel production. Yeah, dude, I don't know if you know this, but this summer, so the summer of 2020, right?
Yeah.
I actually worked and I wrote a
Oh yeah.
20-page paper about a self-sustaining Martian colony. I submitted it to the Mars Society. I didn't win the competition, but I outlined, every system that would need to be, how we're gonna how we're gonna create water on the red planet, how we're gonna, create steel, how we're gonna create plastic, how we're gonna get plant fibers to make um or get plants to get both food and fabric and all the things that we need in a colony like that. I found a way to make the economy viable so that you can actually export more in dollars than you import necessarily, like pretty or reasonably close. So you actually have a positive GDP. I think is what it. Yeah. I made a whole paper about this and it's really cool. And it talks about what your citizen's life might look like. I just
Well,
that was a big project and it's one of the things I'm most proud of.
yeah. I thought you were gonna talk about the people you're working with the spacesuit. I thought that
Oh
was
yeah.
really cool.
Oh thanks, dude.
You guys
So
are developing a
yeah.
spacesuit.
So actually that ties in very well. So after I submitted the paper to the Mars colony, a different team won.
Yeah,
And they had like a whole team of 20 people where it was just me working on it, and there was like hundreds
by
of
yourself. Yeah,
submissions. But a whole team of people won, and then they invited all the people who had also uh
submitted or came
submitted,
close to winning.
yeah, to a Discord server, and this was it's called Nexus Aurora. And
Hmm.
basically this is like a hub for starting space projects, just projects about space, everything from architecture to energy to equipment. Like I can actually, I'm reading off some of their things now, habitats, life support, medical, mining, moon base, rovers, they have everything, transport, spacesuits. And I got there right at like the right time. And there was it was really cool. And there were some people that were just getting started on a spacesuit project. And I was like, hey, I don't know how much help I can be because I don't know much about engineering or anything like that. But I was
Yeah.
actually I went into the project just as it was starting, and I've been there ever since. It's definitely
How's it
slowed down
holding
because
up?
we've lost a lot of people over time. A lot of people just end up quitting, but it's something that it's pretty cool, and it's um slowly chugging along on making an actual spacesuit.
How's it holding up? Have you
It,
been
it
in there recently?
yeah, I pretty much check up every day and just like what's been happening. It's like I said, it's slowed down considerably because we have a problem where a lot of people will join and then like they'll just get bored of the project or leave or something like that because it's not
Yeah.
like an actual thing. But a couple of core people have stayed through and we're actually making good headway. Uh, Recently I actually figured out, like, pretty much working with a couple of other people, a ceramic membrane thing for engineering recycling the air system because previously what people would use to recycle air in spacesuits is this is added afterwards. It's lithium hydroxide. I accidentally said lithium dioxide in the original podcast. Thanks. And this actual, I think, reacts with carbon dioxide to produce I don't remember. I think it's lithium peroxide or it's been too long since I worked on the system, but it was definitely really cool. Where so traditionally what happens is that there's a lithium sorbent bed, and what happens is lithium oxide, I think is what it is, reacts with carbon dioxide and it creates a new substance. So this lithium oxide or whatever it is will actually trap all the carbon dioxide in the air, and then you can bake it later on and take all and
Bake
it
it?
releases the carbon dioxide and restores it to its original form. So you can just have a couple of ovens in your space station, and as long as you're
Hmm.
bringing up enough oxygen tanks, you can, uh, have a recyclable system. It's great, but also it's not efficient enough for a newer spacesuit design. So what I actually did is I created like a whole system that focuses around not using these sorbent beds. Instead, I found a ceramic membrane that is capable of filtering just oxygen. Sorry, I know this is like probably pretty complex and it's a little maybe a
Oh
little
yeah,
boring to hear
definitely.
about.
I'm holding up. I have a gist of explaining.
So instead of using this chemical that reacts with carbon dioxide to filter it out of the air through a loop, we we have like a little airlock system now. So all your air that you're breathing out will go into this little system, and then you will have a blower, pulling it out, and you'll have on the other end of the airlock a membrane that only lets oxygen through. Now, ceramic membranes, they have such really tiny holes that only really small things like nitrogen and oxygen can actually go through these ceramic membranes. So we're pulling the air through, and then the oxygen goes through. Then everything that's not oxygen is left in the airlock, and this includes things like water vapor that we don't want recirculating and filling up the helmet. We don't
Yeah,
things like carbon dioxide that we don't want, circulating and being bad to breathe.
you just
Let's say
want
you,
oxygen.
huh?
I said you just want oxygen in them.
Exactly. Um, and things for an example, and the great thing about this system is it works as our let's say you fart in your spacesuit or you burp in your spacesuit, right? You don't want to be breathing in that air
Oh yeah.
as a loop. So this works because it doesn't let things like methane through. And then we just overboard this vent once the airlock closes. We recirculate the oxygen, and over time we can add more oxygen from the oxygen tank on your back.
That is very wow. Wow.
Sorry, I know it's complex, but
Yeah.
I could talk about it for hours. But it's just something I worked on about last month, and it was really exciting, and I'm happy to do it.
You wanna go into the next question?
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, we took so long here.
Yeah, it was going. We were just very
Yeah.
invested.
Um.
All right.
Once again, I apologize for going off on that. Like that was
Oh man, it's all right. Very interesting.
all right. So the next question we have is, if you could meet someone from history, who and why?
I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Alrighty. If I could meet someone, I have to say I would really like to meet either Elon Musk or Carl Sagan. And I know
Oh,
both of these are like,
before do they have to be alive or could
they
it
could
just
be
be
alive. Is
anybody?
I was gonna say, and I know both of these people were either very close or still alive.
Yeah.
But they're the most interesting people in like all of history to me.
Hmm.
So
All right. Continue.
I'd love to meet Carl Sagan to talk about, just aliens because it's just such a huge interest of me, and he seems like such an interesting guy. And of course, Elon Musk would be so cool because just to talk about,
You could talk about
rockets and
anything to
SpaceX
him.
and everything. Yeah.
I would ask him why the fuck he named his son.
hmm
I saw what it meant. The actual name is Kyle.
Kyle.
I don't know if that's true. I looked into it for a little bit, but apparently it all adds up to Kyle. But I think that's pretty cool. Did
Yeah.
that, but
What
it's
about
kind
you?
of
What
weird.
about you, man?
Um, I couldn't come up with just one person. No, I'd probably ask Ronald Reagan why the fuck he wanted to eliminate drugs so bad. But if I had to choose one person,
hmm
you know, I was thinking maybe Mansa Musa,
Mansa Musa. I don't even know who that
the
is.
the richest man ever.
Is he
You
dead?
know? Oh my god. Let me look it up. He was an emperor, pretty sure. Excuse me. I got some water down my throat. God. Okay. Mansa Musa. Yes, he was an emperor, the Mansa of the Mali Empire, Islamic Western or West African state. Yeah, he died in 1337. So yeah, he was
Oh, dang. Okay.
pretty while ago. But he is known as the richest man ever.
What did he do? Like, how did he get so much money?
Um, Here, I have it right here. He inherited a kingdom that was already wealthy, but his
Okay.
work in expanding trade made Mali the wealthiest kingdom in Africa. He got his money from mining significant salt and gold deposits. So
Oh,
he had a lot of minerals. And
yeah.
back then, the Silk Road, that was a
Yeah.
thing. He went on a pilgrimage to Mecca, and the whole price of gold went down because he would just give it away.
Okay,
I
that makes sense though. That's dang.
he basically gave his money. I want to see what his net worth was.
Yeah, I'm curious, like in today's money, how much did he have?
Let me look right here. Mansa Musa net worth. I would pick him because I want to know what his mentality would be like, what he would be thinking like.
Yeah,
It'd be around 400 to 415 billion dollars today.
450 bill. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Holy cow. So is this like money he specifically owned, or is this like money his like kingdom and all the things like
I
sort of
think that
like
it's his kingdom.
accumulated to? Yeah.
I just think that it's insane that
Yeah.
that's weird. I was looking at different things about him, and there's who's the poorest person in the world, and it has an actual guy.
Wait, there's
How
an
could
actual
you
guy?
how
It's like,
could you be the poorest person in the world?
in debt maybe? I was thinking my first
Oh
thought was
yeah, yeah. I was
like
thinking like, how could you be the
tied at
poorest person? Like,
$0
have
with
$0?
yeah, you'd be tied, but I think in debt probably, right?
Hmm.
Probably
Wow.
the hedge funds now.
Let's see. How much is he in debt? He lost. He was. Wow, that's a lot of money. Today in legal history on Jan. My gosh. I'm sorry. Um, he was a trader in money, in stocks and stuff. He lost $7.1 billion.
Oh my God.
How he was imprisoned in France for breach of trust and forgery.
Dang.
Wow. Wow. That the amount of money that is could have bankrupt like that's like 5 times the economic worth of Cambodia. You could
Yeah.
That is so much money. How can you even lose that much money?
How did yeah, he's gonna be in debt. There's no
His
way he's
entire life, yeah. I
I
wonder what happens. I'm going off guard here, but off topic. What happens to a person that dies while they're in debt? Do they just eliminate their debt? What happens?
no.
Do they
Does it
have his family members have to pay for it?
I don't I think I don't I have no idea. I feel like a long time ago they would definitely put it on the family members.
What happens when someone in debt dies?
Honestly, I'm willing to bet they take, all the money you have and it just goes to paying off that debt. And any, like let's say I have no idea.
Uh, The deceased person's estate is responsible for paying any unpaid debts. The estate's finances are handled by the personal representative, executor, or administrator. So basically, it's handled by somebody.
Yeah. And isn't
The
like the estate
family isn't responsible.
like the things he owns? So like they'll sell his house to pay off the debt.
But or his, their family isn't responsible for the debt.
Yeah.
Wow. I always thought that it would just be, you know, paid for by the family. I guess not. I mean, if you could say in mafia terms that, the family has to pay for the debt if they were, I think that's real. I want to talk about in the future. I want to talk about the mafia because
Oh yes,
I
yes.
could go on to I can go on and on about the mafia.
Dude, I know almost nothing about that, so I'd love to talk about that. That'd be so interesting.
All right. Well, you want to go into our last question?
You know what? Sure, yeah. All right. So, what do you think the biggest problem people have to face in the future?
I mean, the most obvious answer would be pollution, but
Yeah,
I
global warming
think,
sort of thing.
yeah, global warming, climate change, all of that. I think that the biggest problem humanity faces in the future would be ourselves, honestly. I think we'll drive each other to all out war and we'll end up destroying, like nuclear war.
Yeah.
Nuclear war is not like, I don't even know why it came into question because you think about it, nobody wins. Nobody.
Yeah. And that's why everyone's
It's
so scared of it.
like it's insane to me that person at the click of a button could
Yeah.
just destroy the earth because nuclear radiation, it's a lot more than just a bomb. The
Yeah.
the aftermath of it and the effects after it will probably lead, or it will lead on until we die.
Oh, for
If
sure.
I mean, if not, if we just die there at that moment.
And then the radiation kills off, it like you can't
Plants, everything, you can't bring it back.
use even if like you're not necessarily killed by it, you can no longer, like you're messed up, so now you can no longer have kids or
Your
and then
brain,
therefore
yeah.
anything that even miles and miles and miles are just,
Hiroshima still has
yeah,
radiation. Chernobyl, my God, it's
yeah.
insane.
So
I
do you think?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just think nuclear plants and all of that it shouldn't be a thing, but
Yeah,
can't really just
change
take
that.
away that.
Um,
Yeah,
so do you think though that would like could be is that like the biggest problem we face, or could there be like something else that,
no,
although that's bad, it's worse and
I
bigger?
think that's the biggest problem is ourselves, and what we can do to each other is what will eventually cause you know
Yeah.
the ending of Earth or humanity.
Hmm.
So, what do you think the biggest problem humanity faces in the future?
I think I'm 100%. I think nuclear war would be horrible, and I agree that it's gonna be we're gonna cause our downfall, our
Yeah,
demise. If we do, it's gonna be us. Like if we do go extinct, it's gonna be because of something we did.
yep,
Whether that is, we overheat the globe and something bad happens, or we kill each other all off, because of nuclear or whatever happens, right? It's gonna be all our fault.
yeah.
Um, it, this kind of goes into it like a different topic, and I'm not trying to, like steer the
Oh no,
conversation away
we can
necessarily, but
anywhere.
one thing that this question made me think of is like great filters. So do you know what the Fermi paradox is?
No, no, I don't.
All right. So you know how we talked about aliens earlier, right? And
Yeah,
how should be so many.
yes,
There's a couple of things about that. So if there are all these alien civilizations, how come we don't see any? When and maybe yeah, you could argue, well, there are UFOs. Just look at what the government's hiding and things like that. But
I
I
just
mean,
you would think that it would be. clear that
Yeah,
these people
or
would be
even
trying to communicate
we could
to us.
say, the government's hiding that, but also
Yeah,
when you look up at the stars, we don't see, s
different
sim
planets, galaxies, all that.
we don't see different galaxies with, we don't see Dyson spheres or anything like that,
Yeah,
right? And a possible solution to the Fermi paradox. Now, there's tons of different solutions to the Fermi paradox, but one of them is something called the Great Filter, and this is, life is common in the universe.
we just aren't
Possibly
seeing it.
not necessarily. So it's like a Great Filter is like so a Great Filter could be an obstacle that nothing can pass. Either civilizations destroy themselves before they can, uh become a galaxy spanning civilization. That's like a possible Great Filter. So like some of the Great Filters, let's say life is just rare. Life is very rare to develop on planets. That could be an
Yep.
explanation for why we don't see aliens when we look up. Or maybe it's multicellularity, right?
Yeah.
Who knows about that? Maybe multicellular life is super, super rare. Or maybe intelligence, right? Like you think the dinosaurs didn't get intelligent and they've been around much longer than we have.
Well,
I think the most likely Great
they're
Filter is,
alien or not aliens, they're animals,
yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Um,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, I think the most likely Great Filter is that intelligent life probably exists all over the universe, but it probably kills itself before it can do anything. By the time you're advanced enough to become a spacefaring civilization, you have the technology to destroy your civilization.
Could be like us where, they killed themselves by, different people wanted different things.
Yeah,
Ends up in, there's that's probably how some extraterrestrial life ended because of, they couldn't decide
yeah,
what they wanted to do. So I
and
think
then
that's very interesting
yeah, and then they
to think
had
about.
technology to kill themselves off.
Yeah. I think that if I think that there's two ways you can look at it. You can't ever be too smart, but also there is a point where, you don't want to get to that point because it'll just make things a lot worse.
Yeah,
Like knowing too much. Like nobody wants. I mean, there's obviously crazy people, but I think that it's insane that people want to know how they die, because you don't want to. That's just morbid. You don't want to know how you die. I wouldn't want to know how I
it,
die, when I die.
it
Like
ruins the mystery of life.
exactly. Being like that's being too smart is ruining, you know,
Yeah,
once we're getting to that point where we won't have to question is life really out there, because I mean literally it's been confirmed that there is.
yeah. I think that if we go back to the first question, what's the meaning of life? To wonder.
Yep.
And it's if we invent an artificial intelligence that can solve everything for us, we
What's
just
the
ask it,
point?
why are we here? And it just tells us. It ruins the point of us discovering and finding out more. That could be a potential purpose to life for
Is
the
to find out things like explorers.
yeah,
That's
for the
their whole
thrill of
meaning
the
of life.
challenge of a question and then the excitement at the discovery.
Yep. I think that people with a lot of money can do very bad things.
Oh yeah. Well, just look at the hedge funds. They're putting companies out of
Exactly.
business to make more money.
Yep.
Holy crap, man. It's 10:30.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
I had a very fun time.
I sure did.
It is.
Do you want to do this next week or in 2 weeks?
I say we do it. I mean, I don't want to burn out, so
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we should do 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. So you guys heard that. We're gonna do another episode in 2 weeks. That way it just gives us enough time to prepare and to just make sure we don't burn out on this podcast. And if we end up like really doing this for sure, we're definitely going to up increase the amount of time we spend working on the podcast, and we'll probably get uploads weekly if people really like it, and this actually becomes a thing. Otherwise, guys, I think that's all we actually really have time for. It's late. We're probably gonna. I'm probably gonna have to cut some of the podcasts out, so we're gonna cut it down to about 45 minutes. But
Next episode be Friday, February 12th, 2021, which is also the Lunar New Year.
ooh, Lunar New Year.
Look into that.
Yeah. Wait, so what is the Lunar New Year?
Oh,
Is that like the? Oh, is that like a? Is that? I have no. Wait, what is that? I don't know.
I think
Well,
Space New Year, maybe?
oh, maybe that could be cool.
Lunar New Year.
Or it's like the new time, the new year, the moon went around the earth.
Maybe it's like Chinese. It's the Chinese New Year, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, we could talk about that next time for sure. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, guys. If you, yeah, thanks for listening, guys. There's also probably non-guys listening to our podcast. So thanks for listening, everybody. Folks is I think the best word for it. Thanks for listening, folks. And if you enjoyed, I don't know, just find a way to like subscribe or something if you're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, definitely like the video and subscribe, because we're gonna post both on Spotify using Anchor and on YouTube. So that's
suggestions.
Oh yeah, give us
on YouTube.
give us
anything you want us to talk about. We'll be glad to.
Yeah. Follow our Instagram. I think it's at the Edutainment Corner, and from there, I'm excited for this podcast, and
Me too,
we should
man.
also have a Twitter. I think we're bad. We're bad at the social linking. We'll get better at this in the future, I'm sure. It's our first podcast though.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, man. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Edutainment Corner. This has been an amazing time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.